I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Dante Fabro of the Nashville Predators.
This is Philip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Colton Sissons of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Eustace Aros of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. Before we get started on the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, first, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. And once you're getting educated about the show, then you click on that merchandise tab. It's going straight to our classic logo t-shirt, our Pride logo t-shirt, all of our different special event t-shirts, and so much more. All the gimmicks you've come to know and love and expect from Renegades of Puck, like socks, wall art, throw pillows, bed sets, all still available in our online store. So you can outfit your entire home or your entire person with Renegades of Puck merchandise. And frankly, we would appreciate it if you would go ahead and do so. After all, we've sold out so that you can buy in. Social media is of critical importance to this operation, so here's how you can support the Renegades of Puck. You can find us now on Threads, and we are looking to build that account up a little bit. You can still find us on X, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can still find us there as well. So check us out on social media. You can find us on YouTube. Please give us a subscription to our YouTube channel. Just search Renegades of Puck. Turn on those notification buttons and check out the latest episodes of Renegades of Puck TV, our game previews, our game recaps, all of our different analyst videos, and so much more right there on our YouTube channel. In the audio form of the podcast, you can find us on numerous platforms. Thanks to the Full Press Network, the Full Press NHL Network, that is, and Full Press Predators podcast, you can find the Renegades of Puck on Spotify, on Google, on Stitcher, on Amazon, and so many more platforms. Just check us out today. From local to global in the year 2023, we're looking to close out the year very strong, so help us out. Support the Renegades of Puck today. Speaking of supporting the Renegades of Puck, financially, if you'd like to make a donation to the Renegades of Puck, and we sure to appreciate each and every one of you that has done so, you can go to Venmo and just search Renegades of Puck, or you can scan the QR code that is currently on your screen right now. Thanks to generous Renegades just like you watching and listening right now, we've been able to make significant behind-the-scenes upgrades in recent weeks, including a brand new computer system that has made everything about the operation more efficient than it has ever been. We are so happy with how the upgrades are going. So thank you very much. We needed your help, and you stepped up and helped the Renegades of Puck. That's Venmo. Scan the QR code or just search us out right there, Renegades of Puck. Now listen, I know it's time for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. It's time for operation number 832. That's right. Time for show number 832. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 5th place in the Central Division after 26 games skated. They have a record of 14-12-0. 28 points, has them 6 points behind the first place Colorado Avalanche. They are 5-6 on the road, which is where their next game will take place in Toronto against the Maple Leafs. The Preds have scored 85 goals in the season. They've given up 81 goals against on the season. First, let's talk about this Central Division, the most updated standings and statistics from around the Central at the close of tonight's action. Colorado Avalanche still in first place, 26 games skated as well, 16-8-2, 34 points again, 6 points ahead of the Nashville Predators, 3 points ahead of the second place Dallas Stars, and then the Winnipeg Jets are at 32, and then the Arizona Coyotes are at 28, and the Nashville Predators are also at 28. I say again, the Predators are actually tied for 4th in the Central Division in points after being in last place not all that long ago. Then you'll find the St. Louis Blues with 27 points, the Minnesota Wild in 7th place with 22 points, and the Chicago Blackhawks in 8th place with 17 points. Now, after the Preds wrap up this single game against the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto, they will head to Montreal immediately for a back-to-back Saturday-Sunday, come home Tuesday for a one-night stand against Philadelphia Flyers, then head out immediately Friday to Carolina before having to come back home and face off against the Washington Capitals on Saturday. And then on the 19th, the Vancouver Canucks will be at Bridgestone Arena. So 2 back-to-backs coming up in the next week. Saturday, Sunday, then Friday, Saturday. The Predators are going to play a hell of a lot of hockey coming up in the next week. Now, the Nashville Predators have already played the Maple Leafs once this season. This will be the second and final regular season meeting between these two teams. It was back on October the 28th when the Nashville Predators defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-2 on home ice at Bridgestone Arena. That took place in overtime. It was the captain, Roman Yossi, getting the overtime game-winning goal. O'Reilly had 2 goals in the game. UC Saros got the victory, 33 out of 35. Samsonov took the loss at Bridgestone Arena, 21 out of 24. Nylander and Giordano score the goals for the Leafs. Now, the Maple Leafs overall in the season at this point, 13-6-4, 30 points. Not bad. Fourth in the Atlantic. Only 2 points better than the Nashville Predators, 7-4-1 on home ice. They've scored 80 goals for. They've given up 77 goals against. That's a goal differential of +3. Let's take a look at their most recent stretch of action. Let's talk about the previous 5. It was on November the 25th, and they scored a 3-2 loss at the Pittsburgh Penguins, followed on the 28th of November with a 2-1 shootout win versus the Florida Panthers. On the 30th of November, a 4-3 shootout win versus the Seattle Kraken. On the 2nd of December, a 4-3 overtime loss versus the Boston Bruins, and most recently on December the 7th, a 4-3 win at Ottawa. So a lot of overtime action for the Toronto Maple Leafs team in the last 5 games. Taking a look at the numbers, the rankings, and the matchup we have between these two teams, the Nashville Predators are averaging 3.23 goals per game. That is 16th best overall in the NHL. The Maple Leafs doing just a little bit better than that, but not much better. 3.30 is 10th rated overall in the National Hockey League. In the goals against category, the Preds are giving up 3.12 per game. That's 15th overall in the league. Maple Leafs 3.30. That is 19th overall in the league. In the shots for category, the Predators 31 shots on net per game is 15th overall in the National Hockey League, while the Maple Leafs are generating 31.7 shots on goal per game. That is 12th best in the league. In the shots against category, the Preds are ahead in this statistical metric. 30.3 per game is 16th in the league, and the Maple Leafs 33 per game is 27th overall. When it comes to special teams, the Maple Leafs do have the advantage in both of these major categories, but the Predators' power play is at 21.2% now. That conversion rate is up. That rating, 15th overall in the league, is also up. 21 out of 99 on the season is the raw data. The Maple Leafs are converting at 23.9%. That's 9th best overall in the NHL. 16 out of 67 opportunities on the PK. Preds killing off 75%. That's 24th in the league. 20 power play goals against, while the Leafs kill off 79.7%. That's 16th best in the NHL. They've given up only 15 power play goals against on the season. Quick injury update for the Nashville Predators. Great to see Tommy Novak back out there on the rink. Glass still on injured reserve. Carrier still listed as out. Cole Smith also back in the lineup in the most recent game, back from missing his 1 game with an illness. Every team in the NHL is loaded with high-skilled individuals. We always like to take a look at the top 5 scores individually on each team. So let's talk about the home team. Maple Leafs start. Nylander leading the team with 13 goals and 17 assists for 30 points overall. Assists is the tops on the Maple Leafs, and points, of course, is tops. Matthews leads in goals with 16 plus 9. That is 25 total points. Marner at 9 and 16 for 25. Tavares at 7 and 15 for 22. Riley, 3 goals, 14 assists for 17 points overall. On the Nashville Predators side of things, Philip Forsberg pacing with Nylander, 14 goals and 16 assists for 30 points. So each top scorer on these teams have 30. And then O'Reilly, 12 goals and 10 assists for 22 points. Yossi's at 6 goals and 14 assists for 20 points. Nyquist, 3 goals and 15 assists for 18 points. And Luke Evangelistas at 4 goals and 10 assists for 14 points on the season. Anticipated possible matchup in the net right here. UC Saros has a winning record now on the season. We knew he was going to climb out of that hole, but it sure was a big and deep hole. Now at 11-10-0 on the season, a 904 save percentage, 2.93 goals against average. Across the board, everything is looking significantly better than it was just a couple of weeks ago. Still not perfect, but looking a lot better. A winning record, a save percentage over 900, a goals against average below 3. And believe me, those were not easy to come by not that long ago. Wolf is for Toronto, 8-5-1, 916 save percentage, 2.80 goals against average. So the Nashville Predators scored a victory on home ice against Toronto Maple Leafs, and they have the opportunity to go for a sweep against one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And if they were able to do that, it would be a pretty impressive thing for a team that is in rebuild mode, as it was said going into the season. That's got you all set up. The Preds beat the Maple Leafs on October the 28th. 3-2 in overtime was Yost with the overtime game-winning goal. O'Reilly with 2 goals. Saros picked up the victory. That's got you set. Nashville Predators, Toronto Maple Leafs. Now it's time to get to the Rebirth Sports full game recap. It's coming up next on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We go all the way back December the 7th of the year 2023 when the Nashville Preds were welcoming in the Tampa Bay Lightning for the second of two regular season meetings between these two squads. Head coach Andrew Burnett deploys his lines in the following way: Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Nyquist. Welcome back to the lineup Tommy Novak, Parson, and Evangelista make up the rest of that second line. Trennan, Sissons, and Cole Smith. Sherwood, McCarron, and Tomasino make up your fourth line. McDonough and Yossi, Luzon and Fabro, Stastny and Shen are your defensive pairings. Barry out of the lineup, again healthy scratched. UC Saros gets the start in net, and we are just 27 seconds into the first period when it's Johansson coming up with a save on Shen. It's the first shot on goal of the game at 1:24 of the first period. Saros coming up with a save on point, the first save of the game for UC Saros. At 2:29, Johansson comes up with a save on Parson. At 2:50 of the first period, Saros comes up with a save on Mott. At 4:41 of the first period, UC Saros coming up with a save on Sergachev. Teams trading scoring chances back and forth over the first 5 minutes of this game at Bridgestone Arena. 6:50 of the first period, it's Johansson coming up with a save on Sherwood. A large scrum would be caused by Austin Watson in this situation. 7:31 of the first period, it's Michael McCarron off the box. 2 minutes for high sticking. This is going to be our first penalty call of the game. It's UC Saros having to come up with a save on Victor Hedman. A strong PK overall by the Nashville Preds in front of Saros. At 11:14 of the first period, UC Saros come with the save on Tanner Janot. By the way, they did a nice tribute video in rink to Tanner Janot, and the crowd responded quite lovingly. 12:48 of the first period, UC Saros come with the save on Glenn Denning. At 13:31, it's Barry Boulay with his fifth goal of the season. It was a one-timer from the circle on the weak side after some strong passing game by the Tampa Bay Lightning. They now lead 1-0 here in the first period at Bridgestone Arena. We are 15:30 now into the game. It's Stamkos with 2 minutes for holding the stick. Nashville Preds' first power play opportunity of the game is Nyquist. He's hitting the post, and then Forsberg, who scores, but then it's waved off for incidental contact by Ryan O'Reilly. You can look at the replay all you want. You're not going to find the contact because it never happened. Anyway, the power play resumes, and Parson converts on the power play for the Nashville Preds with his fifth goal of the season. McDonough's long shot was put back by Parson, so the Nashville Preds break through and are on the board, tying this game up at 1 apiece. At 19:04 of the first period, Saros coming with a save on Perbix. 19:19, Johansson comes up with a save on O'Reilly. We hit the intermission with a 1-1 hockey game, and each team has 8 shots on goal. We flip over to the clean sheet of the second period for the next 20 minutes of play, and at 1:07 of the second period, Saros coming up with a save on Chernak. 1:55 of the second period, Johansson coming up with a save on Michael McCarron. At 2:30 of the second period, it's Hagel off the box. 2 minutes for high sticking Philip Forsberg converting for the Nashville Preds on the power play. His 14th goal of the season was a wrist shot through multiple layers of traffic. Philip Forsberg with the accurate wrist shot gives the Nashville Preds a 2-1 lead here early in the second period on the power play. 9:32 of the second period, or 4:32. My handwriting is terrible. 4:32 now of the second period. It's McDonough coming up with his first goal of the season. No assist awarded on this sick backhand, but this was an incredible backhand by Ryan McDonough, crashing low into the face-off circle and getting rewarded, getting the rebound jam. He gets the backhand goal, and the Nashville Preds take a 3-1 lead just 4.5 minutes into the second period. At 5:08 of the second, it's Sherwood's off the box. 2 minutes for holding after an incredible stick check and shot block that saved a goal for Tampa Bay as he was getting up and moving away from the play. That's where the penalty occurred, but Sherwood with an incredible defensive effort. That should definitely be noted before we talk about the penalty. He goes to the box for 2 minutes. UC Saros comes with a huge save on Sergachev, and McDonough comes up with one of the craziest clears you're going to see. And I wanted to take a couple seconds and talk about it. So McDonough breaks his stick. Colton Sissons hands McDonough his stick. Colton Sissons then kicks the puck to Ryan McDonough, who clears the puck out of the zone with Colton Sissons' stick. It's just one of those very odd, bizarre plays when you cover and watch enough hockey games. Finally, you'll see something that you've never seen before, and I'm not sure that I've ever seen that one before. I would go back through it again, but it was a lot. 8:03 of the second period. Johansson comes in with a save on Forsberg. 10-12 of the second, halfway through the game. Now Saros comes with a save on Sergachev at the 10:30 mark. Yossi's off the box. 2 minutes for tripping. Saros comes with a save on Kucherov, and then Saros comes with another save on Sergachev before we hit the 12:44 mark of the second period. That's when UC Saros comes up with a save on Nahan, plus the follow-up by Asimont at 14:22 now of the second period. It's Johansson coming up with the save on Luke Evangelista at 15:28 of the second period. It's Johansson coming up with a save on Sherwood, plus the follow-up by the captain, Roman Josi. We flip over to the second side of the sheet to find the conclusion of the second period. 16:07 of the second period. UC Saros coming up with a save on Pervix at 17:54 of the second period. It's Philip Forsberg off to the box. 2 minutes for high sticking. UC Saros would come up with a huge save on Stamkos. Saros would also come up with a huge save on Kucherov. We hit the end of the second period, and UC Saros had to be incredibly strong in this period. Tampa Bay out shooting the Nashville Predators 22-18 after 40 minutes of regulation. We hit the clean sheet for the third period in the final 20 minutes of this game. At 1:19 of the third period, UC Saros comes up with a save on Sorelli's backhand plus the rebound follow-up. This was just an incredible save by the Nashville Predators starting netminder, and at a critical point in the game right there very early on in the third period at 1:21 of the third period. It's Barry Ouellet off the box, 2 minutes for slashing on Forsberg. This came right after UC Saros made the big save, much the same way Sherwood picked up the penalty in the second period. This is how Barry Ouellet picks up the penalty here in the third period, slashing on Forsberg after the great scoring opportunity by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Johansson comes up with a save on O'Reilly 2 different times over the course of this power play. Nashville Predators unable to convert on this one. 4:49 here now in the third period. UC Saros comes up with a save on Kucherov at 5:15 of the third period. UC Saros comes up with a save on Pervix at 6:11 of the third period. It's the captain, Roman Josi, coming up with his 6th goal of the season. It was a long wrist shot through multiple layers of traffic and just right into the top corner, just underneath the crossbar. Just an incredible shot from the captain of the Nashville Predators, giving the Preds a 4-1 lead over the Tampa Bay Lightning at Bridgestone Arena. We're at 7:33 now into the third period, and UC Saros is coming in with a big save on Sorelli at 8:05 of the third. Saros comes up with a save on Radish, another big time save at 9:12. Johansson comes up with a save on Fabro at 10:13 of the third period. It's Watson versus Cole Smith, 5 minutes each, and they were throwing for keeps in this one. Austin Watson landing a massive haymaker at the end of the fight, taking Cole Smith off of his skates. The two of them certainly didn't look like they enjoyed each other's company too much. At the 11:38 mark of the third period, 4-1 hockey game, we go with the empty net scenario for Tampa Bay. Now, listen, Tampa Bay would generate a couple of shots on goal and get a little bit of pressure, but then it would be Yakov Trenin taking the puck and going on a breakaway, a hard-working empty net goal, his 6th of the season. Now, yes, Yakov Trenin's 6th goal after such a slow start. The empty net goal makes it 5-1, and basically, at this moment in time, the Tampa Bay Lightning raised the white flag. They would continue to skate up and down the ice for the remaining 6+ minutes, but not very much would happen until 19:59 of the third period, when down 5-1 in his own zone, Austin Watson decided to take a slap shot, attempting to score, whatever, out of frustration, whatever it was completely unnecessary, and it ends up hitting Luzon in the neutral zone. Luzon appeared to be injured. He was frustrated. He was very pissed off, and to be honest with you, it's a pretty Bush League move by Austin Watson to take a completely unnecessary slap shot. It was dangerous, and it perhaps injured Luzon. I hope that he's all right. He went down the tunnel and looked very, very uncomfortable and looked very unhappy with this. So after that, the players definitely came together, and the referees were able to get things separated before things got out of hand. and the Preds can now celebrate a 5-1 victory, one of their better victories of the season. Listen, Tampa Bay is not having the season that they wanted to have, but they are still the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Nashville Predators got thrashed by them on opening day to start the season. So the Nashville Predators come up with a huge 5-1 victory in this game, and Tampa Bay does outshoot Nashville 33-30. UC Saros was incredibly strong in this game, and I just mentioned it, thrashed in the opening game of the season in Tampa Bay, but thrashing Tampa Bay on home ice 5-1 is a thrashing in the NHL. That means splitting the regular season series with the Tampa Bay Lightning. They also split the regular season series with the New York Rangers, and the Nashville Predators are over 500 right now. This is an impressive victory in every single way that you measure it, and the Nashville Predators found a way to play a full 60 minutes in front of the home crowd and beat a very good Eastern Conference team, earning themselves 2 points and continuing to work their way up in the Central Division standings. That's going to do it for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We'll be back with the box score, full analysis, and so much more right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
Welcome back in. UC Saros in net in this game. 32 out of 33. 1 goal against, and that was one sick one-timer from the backside post. And it was 6 power play saves. And this was a great game, especially for quite a long stretch in the second period when UC Saros absolutely held the Nashville Predators in this one. His last game wasn't his best of the season, but he's put together a couple of really good games out of the last stretch of hockey now. 32 out of 33 is a great game for UC Saros. Again, especially the second period now at 11-10-0 record of the season, 904 save percentage, 2.93 goals against average. It's great to see across the board the numbers starting to round back into proper form for UC Saros. They're still not exactly where you would expect them to be for UC Saros, but that was a very deep hole for him to climb out of. Let's start on a little different than we normally do on the positive and the offensive side of things. Let's start with the defensemen because they really stepped up and contributed in this one in a big way. McDonough, you have to give him all the credit here. He picks up a goal. He picks up an assist. 2 points in this game. The backhand goal was just absolutely awesome. Jumping on that rebound, getting to that opportunity, and putting that puck in the net with some good skill right there. And I've got to say, I started thinking about how the team performs with Ryan McDonough in the lineup, how the other players gravitate towards him, the young players, especially on the defense, of course, Fabro and Carrier is who I'm talking about, and how they play and how they were without him. And that losing streak that they were on when it was all doom and gloom and everything was falling apart, that's when Ryan McDonough was out of the lineup injured for those couple of games. And since he's come back is when the Nashville Predators have taken off. And that's the reason I think that they're over 500 is the presence of Ryan McDonough is truly the difference between winning and losing for this Nashville Predators team. He is such a calming, steadying force out there on the rink, and he's such an incredible leader overall, and his veteran leadership obviously just makes the players around him more comfortable, makes the defense more solid, and his willingness to lead by example and sell out and give up the body and block shots and do all the things that Ryan McDonough is historically famous for. These are the reasons that the players are falling in line behind him and following him, and I just cannot help but note what a difference when Ryan McDonough was out of the lineup. This team felt like it couldn't do anything right out there on the ice, blowing big leads and making mistakes everywhere. And now with him on the ice, I feel like they are just playing incredibly steady, stable professional hockey. There are still ups and downs, but Ryan McDonough's influence on this lineup is absolute and no doubt. Let's talk about the captain, Roman Josi, a goal and assist, 2 points. That's not that unusual for the captain, Roman Josi. 4 shots on goal, 20 points on the season now. I have to note that slow start. We were talking about how Roman Josi was really not getting on the offensive side of things in the first 10, 12 games of the season. A lot like Yakov Trenin, but we expect Roman Josi to score a lot more points in the season than Yakov Trenin. So see the captain Roman Josi at 20 points now after the slow start that he had means he is really rounding his game back into form, and some of the shots that he's scoring on are just incredible. That long seeing eye shot just under the crossbar through layers of traffic, what a great shot. The captain Roman Josi is always leading the offensive charge for this Nashville Predators team. Is a little bit different under Andrew Burnett than it's been in the past under his previous coaches, but he is adjusting, adapting, and now he is clearly putting consistent offense on the board. Speaking of consistent offense, Philip Forsberg has another goal in this game. 14th on the season, 30 points now in 26 games of the season. He has maintained being above a point per game pace so far for about 20 of the 26 games this season. So Philip Forsberg has really turned on the offensive punch, and his consistency and health, that's the only thing that he needs to maintain is to get to a possible historic season in franchise history. He, of course, already has some pretty historic offensive seasons, but this could be mighty special. 14 goals, now 30 points overall. Having more assists than goals is not something Philip Forsberg typically does in seasons, but this season, his assists have outpaced his goals at this point consistently from the beginning of the season up until now. So the world-class distribution service known as Philip Forsberg, could he be heading for something like a 40-goal, 50-assist season? He is well on pace to do possibly such a thing. Let's talk about Juuso Parssinen for a minute. He's really come alive since being moved back to center, hasn't he? Going to the hard areas, putting rebounds back in, bringing the jam, and now not passing up those shot opportunities, those instinctual moments when he has to just react and put the puck back on net is where he is thriving and finding success. It's when he has time to think about it, he is still overthinking it, and he is still maybe holding on to the puck a little bit too long. We've all seen it in the last stretch of games, but he converts right here, and this is a great sign for another young Nashville Predators player, and he is thriving at center. Now, that could cause a little bit of a problem. Tommy Novak, obviously first game back, we're about to talk about Tommy Novak, is going to move back to center. Parssinen is more than likely going to be asked to move back to wing. Let's see how that works out for Parssinen, because I feel like he is more comfortable at the center position. All right, we do have to talk about Tommy Novak, and when I talk about it like it's some obligation, I like talking about Tommy Novak. I mean, I've coined the phrase for Tommy Novak and assigned it to him that all he does is make plays. Well, in his first game back from injury, 12:55 in time on ice, very good thing to see for the Nashville Predators team back on the ice. Not really much of an opportunity to make plays, but he was out there and he was an influence on one of the goals, just not awarded any points in any way. But Tommy Novak, 12:55 time on ice, back in the lineup, and this is great to see for the Nashville Predators. An early Christmas present for the franchise and the fan base, because I truly think Tommy Novak is developing into a star player at the NHL level. Just keep watching. Once he finishes developing, I think we're going to see something really special, and I hope that Tommy Novak is part of the Nashville Predators organization for a long time to come, because I like to really enjoy covering him game in and game out. I've enjoyed covering the early parts of his career, and I think that we are seeing him move up and ascend to new levels, and I think he's going to continue doing so. And final thing I want to talk about in my portion of the analysis here is the special teams. In the first game of the season, Nashville Predators were brutalized on special teams in Tampa against this Lightning team in this game on home ice. The Predators power play went 2 out of 3, and their penalty kill went 4 for 4. Their penalty kill was perfect against this incredible Tampa Bay Lightning offense, their power play, and we already know what the Lightning can do because they beat up and pummeled the Nashville Predators on their home rink on special team situations at the opening of the season. So for the Nashville Predators, you have got to give them all the credit in the world. 4 out of 4 on the penalty kill. It is obviously one of the biggest difference makers in this game. The UC Saros keeping them off the board. Six power play saves out of his 32 in this game. So the Tampa Bay Lightning, no shortage of shots. The Nashville Predators, just a very bendy, not breaky mentality when it comes to the situation. Andrew Brunette put a big emphasis on the special teams matchup going into this game, and the Nashville Predators were able to answer the call, and they were able to respond 4 out of 4 on the PK. Again, that's something that maybe won't jump out and be one of the big season storylines or big moments of the season, but trust me, the Preds penalty kill going 4 out of 4 and shutting down the Tampa Bay Lightning at the home rink, that is something that the coaching staff and inside the room, they will certainly remember for a long time. Hard-earned 2 points, and the special teams battle for the Nashville Predators defeating the Tampa Bay Lightning is how that went down. Let's hear from Stripe Digital, a couple of our friends here, right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast, and we'll be back with the good, cold, hard numbers known as the box score, and then it's time for Brian Baston. I want to talk about Austin Watson being a Bush League hockey player. Many of you already knew that, though, because you followed Austin Watson's career here in Nashville for many years, especially if you've listened to this show for a long time. But that's coming up after the break right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
The digital environment can be quite intimidating, time-consuming, and cumbersome, especially with all those other areas that need attention at your business. And that's why Stripe Digital Solutions is here to help. I know, because that's exactly what Stripe Digital Solutions did for me and the Renegades of Puck. From designing my home website and helping me create my merchandise to special event posters, brand building, and social media management. But it's not just that, it's so much more. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me every step of the way. From startup to full-time operation, Stripe Digital Solutions has been there to assist and advise every single step of the journey. In today's fast-paced world, the path to success is having a strong digital partner, and nobody is better in the trenches than Brandy and Stripe Digital Solutions. Get the solution before it's even a problem with Stripe Digital Solutions.
It's time for the good, cold, hard numbers known as the box score, your goal scorers for the Nashville Predators. Going down the list and forwards is Philip Forsberg, then Juuso Parsin, Yakov Trenin. On the defensive side of things, Roman Josi and Ryan McDonough score goals for the Nashville Predators. On the assist side of things, nobody with more than one. Gus Nyquist picks up another point quietly, another assist here. Sherwood picks up an assist. Smith, Tomasino also pick up assists. The captain, Roman Josi, Ryan McDonough pick up assists on the defensive side of things. When it comes to shots on goal, your shots on goal leader for the game is the captain, Roman Josi, followed up by Luke Shen with 3, and Ryan O'Reilly also with 3. Several other Nashville Predators gained 2 shots on goal in this game. Missed Philip Forsberg. He also had 3 shots on goal. When it comes to block shots, go all the way down to the defensive side of things. Nobody on the forward core had more than 1. On the defensive side of things, Luzon had 3, and Stastny also had 3 in this game. Stastny doing a very good job against the Tampa Bay Lightning. I say he did a very good job because he had 3 block shots and 18-20 of total time on ice, 4 minutes of shorthanded time on ice, and he was barely noticeable out there on the rink, which means he was doing a great job as a defenseman in this game. Now, we got to talk about the physical element of things, and it was Sherwood with an incredible night of chopping wood. 8 hits in this game. That's pretty incredible right there. No one else on the team even comes close to that. Luzon had 3. Nobody else with more than 2. But let's go back and talk about that again. Sherwood chopping wood. 8 hits in this game. That's impressive stuff out there, really bringing the jam in 14:42 of time on ice. When it comes to the time on ice leaders, one of the most uniquely balanced time on ice games I've seen by the Nashville Predators, maybe in their history. Okay, let me tell you what I mean. 16:30 for Ryan O'Reilly was the max time for a forward on this Nashville Predators team. 16:15 for Colton Sisson. 16:05 for Philip Forsberg. So 3 players in the 16-minute range, and then you have Luke Evangelista at 12:42 was the least amount of time skated. So 4 minutes separates the least amount from the most amount of ice time amongst the forwards. Truly one of the most balanced nights of rolling 4 lines that I've truly ever seen with the Nashville Predators franchise. On the defensive side of things, it was Jeremy Lauzon leading the team in total time on ice, 22-19. I bet he wishes he wasn't out there for at least that last second of the game. 20:07 is the time on ice for the captain, Roman Josi. On the special team side of things, on the power play, it was Luke Evangelista with 1:59. Nuso Parson also with 1:59. 1:57 for Tommy Novak and for Tomasino. 3:14 for the captain, Roman Josi. Shorthanded time on ice. Again, give this unit credit. I'm going to mention them at least one more time. Defensive time on ice for shorthanded, 3:56 and 3:56 for Lauzon and McDonough, each 4 for Stastny, 3:56 for Shen, 3:28 for Trennan, 2:28 for Parsonen, 2:04 for Michael McCarron, 3:16 for Cole Smith, 3:49 for Colton. Every one of those players deserves to have their name mentioned for what they did in this category, shutting down the Tampa Bay Lightning power play 4 different times. Now, in the box score, a couple other things that fall out. The power play, 2 for 3. The penalty kill, 4 for 4. Told you I was going to mention it one more time because it was that big of a deal in this matchup. Face-off winning percentage, Preds on the bottom side of the matchup again, 47.3%. It's something with Ryan O'Reilly on your team and Colton Sissons on your team. You would expect a higher face-off winning percentage than what the Predators have been generating as of late. So hopefully the Nashville Predators can correct that a little bit. Block shots, 15. Hits, 19. Takeaways, 9. Giveaways, 11. Nashville Predators again on the underside of the takeaways versus giveaways number, and you never like to see that. You know who else is going to talk about some numbers? He's from ontheforecheck.com. He's got the charts you need to see. He's got the numbers you need to know. He is the one and only Brian Baston. He's at the Renegade Analytics desk right now.
Well, I'm here at Bridgestone Arena after a resounding Nashville Predators victory over the Tampa Bay Lightning, winning 5-1, including an empty net goal, and holding the NHL's leading scorer, Nikita Kucherov, completely scoreless on the evening. One of the things that we saw was the great effort by UC Saros, yet another goal from Philip Forsberg, which ended up being the game-winning goal. But there was one player that didn't really get any statistics on the score sheet, but as you know, if you've watched and listened to us over the past few years, there's always a little bit something more that may not show up on the box score, and we're going to talk about that player tonight in tonight's One Big Stat. So let's talk about Colton Sissons. Again, this is a guy, fan favorite. He's been here forever and will probably be here forever, but Colton Sissons has been one of the most consistent players on the Nashville Predators throughout, well, almost every era in the last 5 years, depending, Peter Laviolette, John Hines, and now Andrew Brunette. He's been a guy who's been consistently in the lineup, an incredible two-way player, and one of the best players in Nashville at the faceoff. But what he did tonight was especially impressive. When Colton Sissons was on the ice for the Predators at all strength, the Nashville Predators had more shot attempts than Tampa, 22-13, 11-5 advantage in shots taken, and Colton Sissons was on the ice for 4 of the 5 Nashville Predators goals and none against, and had a very, very impressive 85% expected goal percentage. So to give you an idea of what that is, Nashville had 6 high-danger scoring chances with Sissons on the ice. Which was literally, and only gave up 1, which speaks again to Colton Sissons' play going both ways on both sides of the ice defensively, and just what we've known about him. But his longevity and what he's done for the Nashville Predators over the course of his long contract has been really impressive, because he's not the guy that's going to go out and score you 20 goals every season, but he really is the glue that helps keep this team together. And I can't think of a better player to have on there when you need a veteran presence to mentor all these younger players than Colton Sissons, the man himself. And of course, we all still believe that he scored in Game 6. And that's tonight's One Big Stat. Back to you, Charlie.
Thanks so much, Brian. That's going to do it for Operation number 832. Now, listen, there's a lot that I would like to say about this particular player, but Austin Watson, the play he made at the end of the game at 19:59, taking a slap shot down 5-1 from his own zone for no reason other than being frustrated with losing in Nashville at Bridgestone Arena, probably hurts the feelings a little bit. He also beat up Cole Smith, apparently, for taking his job. But whatever it was, there was no reason for that slap shot at the end of the game. It's a Bush League play. It perhaps led to an injury of the Nashville Predators defenseman who led the team in time on ice tonight. So for Jeremy Lauzon, I hope that he is okay. And for Austin Watson, it's Bush League. He's not going to get assessed a penalty, and it doesn't make a difference. If you give him a misconduct there at the end of the game, a 10-minute misconduct, whatever the hell, it's just going to get him more money. It's going to earn him more money in the future because they're going to look and say, oh, he had X number of penalty minutes this season. That's going to be worth an extra $500,000. Austin Watson has always been on the edge, and he's always had some things going on, and I'm going to try not to get too far into it because there's no reason to rehash all of those things in the past. It was a Bush League play by a Bush League player, and I didn't like seeing it, and I hope Jeremy Lauzon is okay. I'll wrap it up by saying that. That's a good, succinct summary of how I feel about it without having to get into a whole lot of history and a whole lot of other things. So that's going to do it for this show. I sure do appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your viewership. And most importantly, I appreciate each and every one of you. For Brian Baston, I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. Stick taps, love, and respect.